Hey folks, welcome back to the Data and AI Debate, the channel where we break down the hottest tech in AI, data, and everything in between. Today, we're diving into something most people never see, but it powers nearly everything we use. From Google search, to ChatGPT, to even Alexa. It's called a knowledge graph, and once you understand it, you'll start seeing it everywhere. This is going to be fun, super practical, and loaded with aha moments, so stick around. Alright, so let's start with the basics. A knowledge graph is like a giant mind map for machines. It stores data not just in rows and columns, but in relationships. So instead of just knowing that Tesla is a company, it knows that Elon Musk is the CEO, it's based in Texas, it makes electric cars, and it bought a bunch of Bitcoin. These connections, those are edges. The items themselves, those are nodes. The structure, that's the graph. This gives AI the ability to understand context, not just memorize facts. Let me ask you this. Would you trust someone who memorized a textbook but couldn't explain how anything connects? That's a language model without a knowledge graph. AI needs structure to reason, to fact-check, to connect dots. And that's exactly what a knowledge graph gives it. It's like moving from a flat spreadsheet to a 3D network of meaning. Back in 2012, Google dropped a bombshell, the Google Knowledge Graph. It was their answer to a big problem. Search engines weren't understanding meaning, just keywords. The knowledge graph fixed that. Now, when you type Barack Obama wife, Google doesn't just match those words. It knows the relationship. Barack Obama married to Michelle Obama. That's how you get those neat little info boxes, direct answers, and context-rich results. And the best part? You barely notice it working. It just feels smart. Let's talk voice assistants. Alexa, Siri, Google Assistant. When you ask, play that new song by the guy who sings Blinding Lights, Alexa somehow gets you. It's not guessing. It's referencing a graph that links Blinding Lights to The Weeknd, to genres, to similar songs, and back to your playlists. That's a knowledge graph in action, enabling flexible, real-time reasoning with fuzzy data. And that's what makes voice assistants feel less robotic. Now here's where it gets spicy. You might be thinking, wait, doesn't ChatGPT not use a knowledge graph? And you're right, kind of. LLMs like GPT are trained on mountains of unstructured text. But they can hallucinate, forget facts, confuse relationships. So what's the fix? Combine them with knowledge graphs. That's what tools like LangChain, GraphRag, and Microsoft's Copilot are doing, blending the fluency of large language models with the precision of graph-based facts. The future isn't one or the other, it's both, working in tandem. Let's zoom out of big tech for a second. Enterprises are quietly adopting knowledge graphs to power everything from finance to healthcare to manufacturing. Imagine a pharmaceutical company mapping symptoms, conditions, medications, side effects. That's a graph. Or a bank linking accounts, transactions, locations, and behavior to detect fraud in real time. Graphs aren't just cool, they're mission-critical for modern AI applications. So how do you actually build one of these things? You'll typically use a graph database, like Neo4j, TigerGraph, or Amazon Neptune. These aren't like SQL databases. They use graph-specific languages like Cypher or Gremlin, which are optimized to traverse relationships. And for AI, that matters, because graphs can answer questions like, show me all customers who bought product X and have an overdue invoice and live in New York. Try doing that in a flat table, and prepare for pain. Here's where things get powerful. When you pair a language model with a knowledge graph, you don't just get smart responses, you get explainable AI. Like, we flagged this transaction because it links to an offshore account, and the user has 3 past alerts. That's traceable, that's auditable, that's what regulators want, and it's what users trust. This combo, LLMs plus graphs, might be the future of enterprise AI. So what's the takeaway? Behind every AI system that feels intelligent, whether it's Google, ChatGPT, or Alexa, there's usually a graph shaping its understanding. Graphs give AI memory, structure, reasoning, and, most importantly, the ability to connect ideas the way humans do. If you're building AI, don't just feed it data, give it a graph. If this sparked any ideas, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment. Are you working with knowledge graphs? Curious about building one? Want a deep dive on Neo4j versus TigerGraph? Let's keep the debate going, right here on the Data and AI Debate. Catch you in the next one.